Mike, let me just start right in this, man. Since 2014, you've been with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers through some lean times. Have you ever had any doubt that you would get to this Super Bowl?
I would say so. I had some doubts, definitely. But, I just did my job, and our front office did a great job of putting this team together, this unbelievable team. And, we've been working hard. We've always had talent. It was just getting over the hump, beating ourselves with dumb penalties and things like that. But, I'm happy to be here.
Mike, you and I were just talking about off air, playing basketball. You talk about the longest yard in the basketball scene in the longest yard. You too played basketball. Many offers, man. You had many offers. You took football over basketball. Tell me, what NBA player most resembles your game?
None of them. They're all much better than I am. But I get that question a lot. I don't know how my game would have shaped out if I would have went to college and, got the training and prepared like those guys. But I'll say like a blue-collar Jimmy Butler type, like a poor man's Jimmy Butler.
That's a good player right there now.
Jimmy Butler. Play hard on both ends, offense, defense, a good two-way player. High IQ.
And he got some dog in him too now. He got some dog. He'll talk that noise back and forth.
We're similar in size. I see he thinks that he could be a really good receiver, and I agree. I think he could be a great receiver if he chose to play football, but he's doing his thing in the NBA.
Mike, I love how you like to mark your moments. Now, you actually mark your moments with tattoos on your body. This moment, playing in a Super Bowl at home, is as big as they get.
Yeah.
How will you mark this moment if you win Super Bowl 55? Where would you mark it on your body?
You've been doing your homework. I like that. I've never heard nobody, say that. But I do mark, my moments with tattoos. And if we win, absolutely, I'm getting a Lombardi somewhere on me. I don't know yet. Not my face, but maybe neck or back or somewhere on my arms. I don't know. I'm definitely going to mark it if we get the W.
Speaking about moments, Mike, I said it to you before and I'll say it to you again. You got Johnny Manziel, that Heisman. and now you get a chance to give Tom Brady his seventh Lombardi trophy. Mike, I say it comes down to these wide receivers all the time, man. Do you feel that pressure to deliver this Super Bowl like you delivered that Heisman?
I didn't deliver that Heisman. That year, I was actually hurt that year, and Johnny was one of the best players that college football has ever seen. Real fun to play with that guy. But I don't feel no pressure. No, I'm just going to do my job, prepare the best way possible, stay in the film room, treat my body, get real rested, and try to have my best performance.
Last question, Mike, and I love this question because I know how we are as wide receivers. How do you get to talk to the greatest quarterback of all time when you want to get the ball? How do you just kind of nudge him to, hey, I'm open, man, get me the football?
Just how you said it. I'll tell him, be like, Tom, third down, look for me, or something like that. Or Tom, they're playing a lot of man right now. Look for me. And he knows that. I haven't had to say it much. I haven't had to say it much this year, but he knows, and he's a real cool guy to talk to. And if you want something from him, you got to ask.
You're a smart dude, man. You know how to handle the quarterback and the head coach. Just make sure you talk to him the right way and get those passes. Keep them coming. But, hey, good luck. Good luck Sunday in the Super Bowl, buddy. Thanks.
I appreciate you, Big Mike.
All right.
We'll now open it up to other media members to ask questions. We'll go with Mark Cannizzaro with the New York Post up next.
Hey,
legend right there.
Mike, Mark Cannizzaro from the New York Post. I have two questions. One is on Tom Moore and just kind of, what he's brought to the table and how remarkable it is that he's kind of able to resonate at his age with you guys and just, how amazed are you that he's still doing this at 82?
Coach Moore is unbelievable. He's always in the meetings early, and he rarely smiles, but I got him to smile a couple of times this year and laugh, and it was great. He's an NFL history book, a great offensive mind, and he's seen a lot of football. And he's a great asset to have on his team, and we love him. Am I supposed to be seeing you, by the way? I can't see you. I could just hear you.
Nope, just audio. They're out here.
Okay, cool.
Next up, we will go with Calvin Watkins with Dallas Morning News.
Hey, Mike, sorry about that. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Mike, obviously you being from Texas, and Pat Mahomes, high school football is big here. Just what did you hear? What did you hear of him? Obviously, once you play high school football in Texas, you never get away from it. Did you hear about him because you were in the pros when he was in high school? Did you hear about Mahomes at all when he was in high school?
Yeah, I heard about him. I kept up with high school football a little bit more back then because I was in college still.
Right.
But he was an unbelievable player, especially when he was at Tech. I got to follow him because Kingsbury was my offensive coordinator one year when I was at A&M, and I got to watch him, and he was one of the most fun players to watch in college. I didn't think that he got the respect that he deserved while he was in college, although he was a first-round draft pick. I thought he should have been the number 1 draft pick, and I just thought he was a fantastic player when I was watching him at Tech.
Next up, we'll go to Ben Volen with the Boston Globe.
Hey, Mike, congrats on making it to the Super Bowl. Wanted to ask you about your quarterback. A lot of focus is put on his training regimen, how he takes care of his body, but he seems to be a pretty smart guy out in the football field too. He's played the game for so long. Just curious, what are your impressions of how smart he is as a quarterback, and do you have any examples of how you've seen that on the field?
The example is he just simplifies the game for us. He makes it so easy to communicate. This year, we've had the lowest amount of mental errors that I've ever seen, that I've ever been a part of on the offense. And that's a testament to him and his knowledge. He puts us in situations to make the game simple for us. Like you said, he's a smart guy, and that's why he's been doing it for so long.
Next up is Mackenzie Johnson with ESPN The Undefeated.
Hi, Mike. I had a question about your teammate, Scotty Miller. I just asked Chris Godwin the same thing. When did you realize how fast he actually is?
When we first saw him, he was blazing fast. We were lined up next to each other. We both got mirrored routes. I got to go, he got to go, and he's leaving me. And I started on the ball, and he was leaving me in practice. And in practice, I always try to gauge my speed going against the other guys like Deshaun Jackson and Chris Godwin and all those guys that I played with, Antonio. And I try to see when we got mirror routes how fast I can go. And he was a couple yards ahead of me, so I knew he was real fast right away.
Next up, we'll go to Matt Tanner with Sky Sports NFL.
Sky Sports?
Hi, Mike.
Is that in UK?
Yes, it is.
My man.
How you doing?
I'm doing great.
There's so many offensive weapons on both sides, but I wanted to ask you specifically about Sammy Watkins. Can you just talk about his strengths as a receiver, and if he's healthy, whether he can be an X factor for the Chiefs?
Oh, he's an unbelievable player. Throughout his career, he's dealt with a lot of injuries, but he's a phenomenal player. He was the number 1 pick for receivers in our 2014 draft class. And that was a really good choice. He's explosive, physical, really good hands, can run routes. He doesn't have many weaknesses. He can go deep, can yards after catch, and be physical. He just had some misfortune with injuries.
Next up is John Ledyard with PewterReport.com.
Mike, this is the year that more than any other year that you've played more snaps in the slot than ever before in your career. I was asking your receivers coach, Kevin Garber, about that process for you. Obviously, it's not like a totally new position or anything, but it is different a little bit, and you've had to do some different things this year. But just what has that process been like for you from going to a guy that played so much outside? Obviously, you've played in the slot some before this year, but not to the extent you have this year. So has that process been different for you? Has there been different things you've had to learn?
No. It's just I could run all the routes, any spot on the field. This year, it seems like they just wanted to know where 13 was at. A lot of double teams this year. So we got to be creative and put me in spots where I won't get doubled as much, and coverage over me. And I don't mind being a slot. I like it, but I definitely love being outside. One-on-one, matched up with the team's best corner.
Next up, we'll go to Steve Isbitz with JoeBucksFan.com.
Hey, Mike, did you hear from any of your former starting quarterbacks since you made the Super Bowl? And did they have any good words for you? And if so, can you say what maybe you've learned from some of those guys, the handful of guys you had through the years?
I know that voice. How you doing, man?
Doing good, doing good.
Yeah, they all hit me up and they said, congrats, go ball out in the big game. And I've learned a tremendous amount from all the quarterbacks that I've got the opportunity to play with, from college on up.
We'll go to Kendra Douglas from WSH2.
Hey, Mike. This season has been pretty challenging for everybody, especially with COVID, and you guys have done such a good job with how you've handled it. For you personally, did COVID impact you in any type of way that with your family or your life? And then can you also talk about how, because of COVID, because of the restrictions, because of everything, this actually probably has made you guys stronger and really made you guys really look at the importance of really focusing on this season?
COVID hasn't affected me. I don't know anyone that got sick from it or anything like that. But it's been tough, on the world this past year. It's terrible, but we can get through this. And at the start of the season, Coach BA said the most disciplined team, will win it, and won't lose players due to COVID and things like that. And we just try to stick by that and abide by all the rules and things like that throughout this season. And we've done a good job. We gotta keep doing that. Last week of the season, we gotta do that. Make sure we can't lose any of our players because of COVID, and have our full team come Sunday.
Next up, we'll go to Thomas Heredell from TV3 Sports in Denmark.
Yes, hi, Mr. Evans.
How you doing?
I just wondered what adding Brady to your team has given you confidence-wise, not just you, but the whole organization. It seems like all of a sudden you become winners.
I mean, obviously we became winners by playing the Super Bowl, but adding a player like Tom Brady and what he brings to a team is, quarterback is the most important position, I feel, in all of team sports. And, adding the greatest of all time will equate to wins.
Next up, we'll go to Mark Berman, and just a reminder to media to have your affiliation listed in your display name.
I wish I could see everybody's face so I can get a good gauge of the question.
It's Mark Berman from Fox in Houston. Did a story with your family a few days ago with Heather, with Makia, with your niece Kennedy. Talked to Coach Temple. What is it like for you? You're from Galveston Ball. Talk about your journey from Galveston. What does it mean to you that they mean so much to you and you mean so much to them? What you're doing right now, they're so fired up about it.
My family is everything. They're the reason why I do what I do. They've helped me get into this position. Without them, I would not be here. I love my mom, my daughter, my sister, my niece. They'll be at the game this Sunday, and they're so excited to be here. And I actually saw the interview. It was cool seeing my daughter give an interview. I thought she did a pretty good job for her first one. But my family means everything to me, and my city, Galveston, means everything to me. And I'm proud to be representing my city and my family in one of the biggest games.
Next up is Alexander Spur from Skyboat News.
Hey, Mike, how you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Mighty fine. I was just wondering, obviously with the Super Bowl, everything seems to be a little bit more intense, and arguably no one's more intense in the league than your quarterback, Tom Brady. Has there been anybody leading up to this big game that's been able to match his intensity?
As somebody on our team or a different team?
On your team, during practice.
Match his intensity?
Yes.
A lot of guys. Tom can get pretty intense, but a lot of guys on our team can get real fiery and intense as well. All the captains, me, Devin White, Levante, Will Golston, JPP, Sue. We got so many guys that just get intense and just thrive off that.
Next up, we'll go to Alec Lace from First Class Fatherhood.
Hey, Mike, what's doing? My show focuses on fatherhood and family life. I love what you've done with the Mike Evans Family Foundation, how you turned your tragedy into something positive. I'm just curious, along your journey, how did becoming a father change your perspective on life?
Taught me to be more patient, taught me to be more selfless. Bringing in a human in this world is a tall task. You don't just have a kid for a couple years or you have it for the rest of their life. And you want to be a better role model and be a better person for your child. And I think that's how everybody should be. And, my children have, definitely shaped me into the man that I've become. I used to be very immature before I had kids. It definitely helped me mature and just want to be a better person.
Next up, go to Nate Davis from USA Today.
Hi, Mike. You mentioned that you hadn't been on a team before that had made so few mental errors, and you ascribed that to Tom. What are the little things that Tom has brought outside the box score you can't see in the numbers that have really helped you guys kind of get from where you were a year ago to where you are now?
Well, I mean, him just coming over, just period, his play is a big reason for it. We have a very talented roster, but adding, QB of his caliber, that's why we're doing what we're doing. But it's just little meetings here and there, just extra meetings just to make sure everything's fine-tuned and everybody knows what they're doing in the games. So, I mean, that's pretty much it, just extra meetings to make sure everybody's questions are asked going into the game.
Now we'll go to Peter Clark with Syracuse University.
Syracuse.
Hi, Mike. You've had a great start to your career, 7 consecutive 1,000-yard seasons, the first player to do that. What would a Super Bowl winning this year with Tom Brady mean for your legacy?
Legacy, that's for people to debate on and to remember. I'm assuming it'll be big time. And as a goal of mine, it'll be huge. It'll be one of my best accomplishments, in the sport, if not the best that I've done. So I definitely want to get this as a goal of mine. And, we've been working all year for it. And, we got to come out fighting because we're going against a great team.
So we'll go to John Ledyard with PewterReport.com.
Mike, you're also a captain on this team, not only just a star receiver. So I'm curious your role in that as you go back and look at tape and watch these playoff games and you evaluate the wide receiver room. Just what's your thought process on these 3 playoff games, how the wide receiver room's played, what you guys have done well, what you can do better going into obviously the biggest game of your careers?
I'm a captain. I'm very honored by that. That my teammates have respect for me and they hold me in that regard. We have a lot of leaders on this team that aren't even captains, and it's just been a great year as far as leadership and guys being on the same page. Our receiver room, we've made some big plays in these playoff games, but we're gonna need to have our best game if we want to beat this team, because this team is loaded just like us. Their offense is very explosive, so we have to put points on the board. If not, it's going to be tough. So, the receiver room, we have to play well, and I have to have my best game as well.
Next up is Derek Spallone from Spallone Sports.
Hey, Mike. First off, just want to say congratulations on all your success, not only on the field, man, but the amazing work you've done through your foundation. I actually had the chance to work with the Bucs during the 2017 Hard Knocks season on the social media side. So when you launched your family foundation, I remember covering some of those events and seeing the growth you've had there, man. So congrats on that, first off.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, of course, man. So just wanted to jump in as you prepare for the biggest game of your career thus far. When you reflect back on your journey, this season you had a career high in touchdown receptions with 13. But can you take us back to your high school days during your senior season where you caught your first touchdown pass and kind of provide that breakdown of that play and moment?
Definitely. We were playing Houston Wheatley. It was my senior year. I didn't play football in high school prior. I played a little bit in 9th grade, but 10th, 11th grade I didn't play. First game on varsity, playing against Houston Wheatley. I run it's a post corner. It was in the red zone, and the quarterback did a great job. Rodney Altmore. Shout out to my high school quarterback and good friend. He threw me my first high school touchdown pass. I kind of bobbled it a little bit, and then I ended up making the catch. Xavier Howard was actually on that team. I didn't score on him on that play, but I knew he was a good player back then. But I remember that it was we were playing against Houston Wheatley, Xavier Howard, and I scored my first touchdown on it was like a post curl, I guess it was.
Next up, we'll go back to Steve Isbitz with Joe Bucks Fan.
Good question. Made me think a little bit.
Hey, Mike, can you reflect back on two things? One, kind of how hard it was for you to play 16 games through those injuries early this year, maybe that journey, and also what it means to you that the offense and the coaches really worked to make sure you got that 1,000 yards late in the season.
Yeah, I mean, injuries are a part of the game. This season I've faced the most that I've faced throughout my career. But with a lot of prayers and a lot of hard work and a good training staff, I was able to play through all those injuries and try to help my team win games. I hate being out. If I can't play, then I'll know if I couldn't play. I'd sit. But my team, I feel like my team needs me to be out there, and I just want to try to help my team win, whether I'm hurt or not. And the coaching staff did a great job at the end of the season, trying to give me that record. I'm very appreciative of that. They didn't have to do that. I'm fine with winning and getting the moments like this, but having that record and being the first in NFL history, it means a lot. So I'm appreciative of Tom and the coaching staff doing that.
Next, we'll go to Christian Torres.
Hello, my name is Christian Torres from Argentina NFL and No Huddle. What is the sensation that be a part of the Super Bowl? Is different than the training, or it's exactly igual?
You said, is it sensational? What's the sensation of making it to the Super Bowl?
Yes.
Is that your question, sir?
What is the sensation of playing the Super Bowl? And what is the training? Is similar of any play, any game, or extraordinary?
Man, we're so excited. It's the biggest game that you could be a part of. And, I'm just happy to be in this position. Our team is happy. And we're going to give our best efforts to put on a great show and try to get the job done come Sunday. Does that answer your question, sir? The training's the same as well. I think you asked that.
Next up, we'll go to Jonathan Adams with Heavy.com. We'll actually go back to Mark Berman now.
Hey, Mike. I talked to your basketball coach at Galveston Ball, Coach Temple. What did he mean to you in your journey? And what did playing sports, football and basketball at Galveston Ball mean to you in your journey? But specifically, Coach Temple, for sure.
Oh, Coach Temple was a great, mentor. I lost my father at a young age. I had a lot of great men in my life to show me, how to carry myself and, how to act as a man. Coach Gerald Temple and Coach Terry Pettaway. My two basketball coaches, one AAU, one my high school coach. And, he taught me a lot. I learned a lot from him. He'll be at the game come Sunday. And, my times at Galveston Ball was some of the funnest times, I've had in my life while playing sports. And, it meant a lot, and it helped me get to where I am.
Next question will come from Rachel Hallowell.
Hey, Mike, how's it going?
It's going good.
Good. I'm with the NFL Canada. So some fans in Canada were just wondering what your favorite thing is about Canada and if you could answer in your best Canadian accent.
So it's Canadian. A lot of Canadians speak really good English and they don't have like much of an accent. But my teammate, Auclair, he has like a French kind of accent.
Yeah.
So I can't do a really good French accent, but I love how kind the people in Canada are. I've been to Canada twice in my life. I've been to Edmonton and for a basketball tournament in high school. And I went to Montreal on like a business venture. Both times were great. The people were unbelievable. Unbelievably kind people in Canada.
Next question will come from Trey Jean Watkins from Black Sports Online.
Hey, Mike, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing good. Forgive me if this has already been asked, but you and Levante David are, I guess you could say, the two main stars for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers over the years. Have seen a lot of ups and downs with the organization regarding not making the playoffs and seen a lot of unfortunate ends to your season. But this year, you finally made the playoffs for your first time in your career. And not only that, you're playing in the Super Bowl on Sunday. So if you can, what has been your emotions leading up to this game? Just realizing that all the hard work that you put in throughout the years has finally led to not only the playoffs, but playing in the Super Bowl, and not only just any Super Bowl, but the Super Bowl in your home stadium.
I mean, it's unbelievable. It hasn't really hit me yet what I'm going to feel, but I know I'm very excited and very happy to be in this position. I wish that COVID wouldn't have interfered with everything, and this included. But it's been a lot of downs. You said the ups and downs. It's been a lot of downs, but now we're up, and we're going to try to stay going up as long as we're playing. So it's been an unbelievable run this year. It was all worth it, and hopefully we can get the job done Sunday, and then stay on this track.
Next question will come from Ben Spiegel with New York Times.
Hi, Mike. I was wondering why, from a philosophical standpoint, if you could speak to it, why the downfield passing element is so important in your offense and how Tom has come to thrive within it over the course of the season.
We're a very balanced team, I feel like we're a very balanced team, but if you don't have a down the field game, then it'll be easier for you to guard. So teams play us in a lot of cover 2 and too high because of our playmaking ability at the receiver and tight end position. So we have to nickel and dime them for a little bit, and then when they start being more aggressive, we try to hit them over the head. And I feel like we're a very balanced offense, and good teams have to have down the field threats.
Next up, we'll go to Zenny Abraham.
Zenny.
Mr. Abraham, Mr. Evans.
Yes.
Oh, Mr. Evans.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Zenny Abraham, Zenny 62 Media. Pleasure to meet you. I'm going to ask.
As well.
I asked Mr. Godwin, what's the difference between catching a pass from Jameis Winston versus Tom Brady in terms of styles?
What Chris say?
Chris said that there wasn't much of a difference. He said that Jameis was a gunslinger, Tom more balanced. But I was thinking more like, for example, the spin on the ball.
Mm-hmm. I mean, they both throw really good spirals, and they both throw with touch on the throws that they have to throw with touch. It's very similar. Like most quarterbacks throw very similar. Mike Glennon, one of my older quarterbacks, I can tell the difference when he throws the ball, but most of the other quarterbacks, they throw it pretty much the same. Like Mike Glennon threw it super hard, like your thumbs are about to break. But Jameis and Tom, they throw very similar. Most quarterbacks throw very similar. If they can throw, they're good NFL quarterbacks.
Next up, we'll go to Roderick Curitin.
Hey, Mike. Roderick from Florida Podcast. So with 7 straight 1,000-yard seasons to start your career, do you consider yourself to be one of the top 5 best receivers in the league right now?
Yeah, definitely. I definitely think I'm, a top 5 receiver in this league. There's so many great receivers. You could choose between any style, big, smaller. Like, there's so many great receivers in this game, but I definitely think as far as talent and accomplishments, I'm in the top 5 discussion right now, trying to go be the number 1 guy.
Next up, we'll go to Harold Kuntz, Fox 4 WDAF.
Hey, Mike. Oh, by the way, for the moderator, it's Kuntz.
just FYI. But Mike, when you look at this Chiefs secondary, especially a guy like L'Jarius Sneed coming back, and Tyrann Mathieu back there, just your overall impressions on what they are, what they've accomplished, and how you feel you guys match up against them.
I feel like we match up well. Last time we played them, they started off fast on us. They have a really aggressive style on defense, long corners, really smart safeties, good D line. But I feel like we match up good. I feel like we were just getting rolling in the second half in week 12 when we played them. I think it was week 12. I feel like we were starting to get a groove going. I hope that momentum from the end of that game can carry over to this game.
Next up is Anthony Amy from Black News Channel.
Hey, Mike, congratulations on making it to the big game. I just asked your teammate Ndamukong Suh about just the dynamic of the coaching cycle and how much players in the league are paying attention to the numbers and the lack of opportunities for Black head coaches. Coach Arians said moments ago that he was flat out pissed off that Byron Leftwich didn't even get any interviews, considering what he's done the last couple of years. How much do you all pay attention to these coaching cycles as players? And what does it mean to you as a player to be able to see your coaching staff and see 3 Black coordinators that are not just there because of their skin color, but as Coach Arians puts it, because they are more than qualified to be in those positions?
I think that's what matters, qualification. If you're qualified, no matter gender or race or anything like that, it shouldn't matter. If you're qualified, then if you're the best available for the job, then you should get it. I've been fortunate throughout my football career to have minority coaches and white coaches. I've had my high school coach was a Black man. My basketball coach was a Black man. My AAU coach was a Black man. My college coach, after Mike Sherman had got fired from Texas A&M, Coach Kevin Sumlin was a Black man. I've been fortunate to have all race, Black and white, as my coach, and they were all great coaches. So if you're qualified, then I think you should get the opportunity. Regardless of race.
Next up will be Steve Itzbitz from Joe Bucks Fan.
Hey, Mike, who would you say on this Bucks team is the untold story, the player that you look at on the roster and say, man, that guy really came a long way, busts his ass, the fans don't know about it, and I'm really super proud of him. Can you pick one guy out?
There's too many to name. There's too many to name. There's guys that I'm proud of that are on practice squad right now that haven't even got an opportunity to play, but I know when they get that opportunity, they're gonna make the most of it. But there's just too many guys to name. Can't just pick just one.
Now we'll go to Josh Padilla with MTSU Athletics.
Hey, Mike, congratulations on making it to the Super Bowl. I wanted to ask you, going up against Charvarius Ward this Sunday, what does he do well?
He's long and he's physical, and he can run. He can run pretty good. Last time we played him, he was giving us problems with his length at the line, him and Breland, and their physicality. So we have to match that physicality, and I think we will this time around.
Next up will be Gene Thompson.
Hey, Mike. Hey, how do you feel being able to play in your own backyard? Any nerves playing the Super Bowl right there in Tampa?
Oh, I'm sorry. What'd you say about that first part? You said.
I said, how did it feel, playing the Super Bowl right there in your own backyard? Are you feeling any nerves right now playing in Tampa?
Nerves? No, sir. No, sir. I don't really get nervous for games. I never really have. I don't know why. It's just a game. It's fun. It's fun to play. As you play more, though, it hurts a little bit more. But it's still fun, man. We're playing a kids game for money. I know it's a lot of grown men out there playing, but the gist of it is a kids game for money. And I don't really feel the nerves, but I'm excited. I'm excited to be playing, the first home Super Bowl in Tampa, and hopefully we can win it and make even more history.
Next up will be Dan Wider with Chicago Tribune.
Hey, Mike, 6 seconds before halftime at Lambeau Field, both BA and Kevin Garver said that as soon as you guys lined up that they had a sense that was going to be a touchdown. I know you were on the opposite side of the formation. I'm curious what your eyes were telling you as you guys lined up and got ready to take that shot.
You said before the half?
Yeah, the 6 seconds before the half.
Yeah, they didn't. I guess they were playing out of bounds. Because me and Scotty had mirror routes. We had both go balls, and we both ran by our guy. And I think they were expecting it to be us going for the sideline. But Tom threw a great ball, and Scotty outran his man.
Next up
Huge play in the game. Huge play.
Next up is Roderick Curitan.
Hey, Mike, Roderick again for the Florida podcast. So kind of a fun question here. Since we're a podcast, I wanted to know, do you like to listen to podcasts? And if so, what is your favorite podcast?
That's tough. There's a lot of good podcasts out there. I don't listen to them much. I like getting on YouTube and watching like old highlights and things like that.
Okay, you could check out ours. I'll tell you that. You can give us.
Is it good though? Is it worth it? Is it worth it?
It's worth it. It's worth it.
Podcast can be long. Is it a long podcast or is it shorter?
It's not long. It's not long. It's very insightful, and we boost you all the time. So you definitely should check us out.
Okay, I appreciate it.
For sure. Yeah.
I listen to I Am Rappaport podcast. My boy Michael Rappaport. He's a big troll, but he really means well, even though he bashed a lot of people. But it could be funny at times. So the I Am Rappaport and then the T. Ross podcast. I listen to T. Ross, Terrence Ross podcast.
Next up, we'll go to Jack Rathborn with The Independent.
Hi, Mike. It's Jack here from London at The Independent. Pleasure to speak to you.
Pleasure's all mine.
Yeah, so I just wanted to talk to you a little bit about the development this season with Tom. Firstly, what was the differences between your expectations and reality of working together? And secondly, obviously, this season is kind of separated into two parts: before the win streak, and after. So, just wondered if there was one moment in training or in a game, a certain play, where it was that eureka moment where you knew that you'd earned the trust of each other and the effectiveness on the field.
Okay. Well, my expectations were exceeded, and then some by Tom. I knew he was a great player, but he's getting older, and he still feels like he's young. I knew he was a great player already, but he's 43 and he still can spin it. He can still move a little bit. I know that's never really been his game, but he can move a little bit for a 43-year-old man. And this season, man, it's been it's had its ups and downs this year. A lot of bumps to go through, I guess. This is a fairly new team. We were just learning on the fly, and I feel like we're still peaking and we're still going up. We're fortunate to be in the Super Bowl. We played hard. We made the plays when we needed to make them, and we were just learning throughout the season, about each other and getting through tough times together.
Next up, we'll go back to Dan Wider with Chicago Tribune.
Mike, I was curious what kind of growth you've seen in Scotty Miller this season, and specifically how his confidence has evolved.
Oh yeah, the confidence was always there. It's just he was injured last year. He faced a lot of injuries last season. Took him a while to get on the field because he was hurt, and then he got hurt again right around the time me and Chris had got hurt last year. It was just about getting the opportunities as well. Staying healthy and getting opportunities, and that'll build confidence in anybody. And he's a hell of a player. A lot of small guys like that can run. They don't really track the ball that good. He's one of those guys. Him, Tyreek Hill, they're like smaller guys that can run fast and catch the ball extremely well. So he's been balling this year, and I hope he has a great game in the Super Bowl.
We have time for a couple more questions for Mike. Next up, we'll go to Angel Wells with NABJ Sports.
I think what makes it.
Hi, Mike. How does it feel to catch footballs from arguably the greatest quarterback of all time? And how much has Tom Brady impacted you as a person on and off the field this season?
It's great catching passes from the GOAT. I never thought I'd be able to get that opportunity. When I was a kid, I grew up not liking Tom Brady because I was a Peyton Manning fan. And now I'm the biggest Tom Brady fan. So it's great being able to catch the balls from him. And what was the second part of that question? I forgot the second part.
They're now unmuted. Sorry about that, Mike.
Yeah, what was that second part of that question?
Hi, Mike. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you.
Awesome. I was just saying, how much has Tom Brady impacted you as a
Okay,
person?
okay, I remember. I'm sorry about that. Tremendously. The way he carries himself, the way he takes care of his body I've never seen anything like it. I see why he's been able to play so long. The way he treats everybody in the facility, whether it's, one of our janitors or somebody that's cooking or somebody that he just treats everybody with respect, and he's just such a nice guy. I've been learning a lot from him on and off the field. He's a great teammate and mentor to have.
And last question here, we'll go to Rob Motti with the AP.
Hey, Mike, I was just asking Chris Godwin about your influence on him, and he talked about beyond the field, beyond the patterns and the routes and everything else, but just the work that you do in the community and how that's impacted him and how that's influenced him to want to give back and to want to do more. Just how important is that to you? I know you're the Walter Payton Man of the Year nominee, and how does it feel when you hear other guys say that's inspired them and motivated them?
It means the world to me. I've always been a guy that wants to give back, and I'm in the position to do that now. It just means a lot to me. And, there have been guys that I looked up to as a young player, and, they kind of showed me the way as well. So it's just a good cycle that the NFL and pro sports have with good guys that just want to help people because we're given so much. We're so blessed, and we just want to just help people while we're in this position.
That's all the time we have today, so that'll conclude today's availability session with Mike Evans. Mike, we appreciate the time.
All right, thank y'all. God bless. Thank you for getting that water.